hello, everybody. We're back. I'm back. Bayou Bets is back. It is a Monday, July the 17th of 2023. You know who isn't back? Zach Ewing. This show has survived. He's not here. He's gone. He's over in another section of the Advocate. He's in some, they put him in some cubby that no one ever visits or anything like that. They banished him to Saints land.
But no, they put him in timeout.
Yeah, he's in Advocate Times Picayune timeout. But that's where Zach Ewing is. I am Jim Derry. We're here. Spencer the Guru Urquhart is here. Zoe Collins-Rath behind the scenes is here. And it's good to be back, everybody. Hey, Jerry's here with us. And it is a Monday afternoon, which means it's in July, which means we're going to be talking about pretty much what you think we're going to be talking about. Football, little British Open coming up, and I can't wait to get on my rant and how much I hate summer, because anyone who's listened knows how much I hate summer anyway. What are the headlines for today? SEC Media Days are underway. Brian Kelly and Jaden Daniels are talking national championship. They both said those words today. National champion. Not their own mouth. Not from a question they were asked. It wasn't. They both said national championship today. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Titans signed DeAndre Hopkins, the former, to me, one of the greatest receivers of this past era, I would say, the past 15, 20 years, as far as just grade A receivers, guys who could catch anything. That's DeAndre Hopkins. Is going to make a difference for the Titans, are going to ask. And then 11 days to Saints training camp. We're going to touch on that. Also, again, talking about the British Open. We're going to give you some odds on that as well. Mr. Horace is here. Well, thank you.
Hello.
I'm glad to be back from vacation. Sort of. I guess. I can't be upset about it, right? I was off for 2.5 weeks. At some point, you have to come back, Spence.
Yeah. Welcome back, Jim. Glad to have you back here. And yeah, new era of Bayou Bets will begin. It sent Zach off in style last week, and now it's time to turn the page of the new chapter. I'm excited to see where it goes.
All right, well, let's do that by starting off with SEC Media Days and talking about LSU football. Jaden Daniels says, quote, and he should say this, but still, to hear a player actually say it means things have changed at LSU. The goal is to win a national championship. Brian Kelly went as far, Spence, to say that he thinks that LSU can win a national championship. And again, that's something that they should say, and Michael says, yes, they should. But what's your opinion on if you just take this out of context and what the whole talk is about and where this program is? It's easy to say, maybe Jaden Daniels being a little cocky or whatever, but I don't think he meant it like that. But still, again, if you go to LSU and you're the quarterback at LSU, you should expect to be in the running to win a national championship.
Mm-hmm. And as far as Jaden, he's in the running to win the Heisman as well. They're 10-1. He's one of the contenders. So we'll see what he can do. We'll talk about the John Emery return in a little bit. Probably going to need a little better running game for them to have a truly elite offense. But the way Jaden's a dual threat guy, they definitely should have a really good passing game again. But to set the goal this high, you got to deliver. When you talk big like this, you've got to deliver. Because if you fall flat, there's no bouncing back from that. And this is Jaden's last year. He's going to have to go out with a bang. And he knows it. That's why he's setting the goal high like this. And I think there's a chance they could get it done because they've got the pieces to do so.
Well, let me ask you, and we have the odds on the screen here down there. Is that right on Jaden Daniels? He's really plus 1,000 to win the high. I did not look at this.
Yeah. Caleb Williams was the favorite. He was down, kind of like I could pull it up here from our partners at Caesars Sportsbook. By the way, shout out to Caesars for our sponsor of the show. But yeah, he's the second lowest odds, tied with Quinn Ewers. Caleb Williams, the favorite at plus 550. Quinn Ewers, Jaden Daniels next up at 10-1.
I believe, if I remember correctly, about 3 months ago, it was somewhere around plus 3,000. So those odds have changed. Again, I haven't looked at them in a while, and I just kind of perused over them back in, I don't know, March or April. But this just goes to show, to me, I think there's a lot of hype train rolling on LSU. We've seen their number against Florida State change. They were 1 point underdogs about a month and a half ago. I think they're somewhere along the lines of 2.5 point favorites now, even though that game is in Florida.
Yeah, it's really getting, like you said, the hype train's taking off, and I feel like it's crazy. It's only July, but it's like, man, I almost feel like we've missed the boat with LSU.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's not really any value here. I mean, Jaden to win the Heisman is very possible, but at 10-1, I'm not betting that. And then 12-1 to win it all. You've got Alabama and Georgia in your conference. I don't really see much value there either. So it's like, if anything, I kind of like the win total over 9.5.
Yeah.
If they're going to win it all, they're definitely going to hit the over on that. So if I was going to play something, I'd probably just play the win total.
That is the safer route if you think they're going to make the playoff. I mean, I think there is a bet. I have not seen it, but I think you can bet for them to make the playoff. I think there is a the bet that. Now, LSU, to me, there's no value in winning the SC at plus 450 if you're going to, because they're going to be in the running for a national championship. If you're looking for value, and again, that's what this show is about. We're telling you about what we think value is. It's not, we'll also give you our predictions and those sorts of things. But if you're looking for value, plus 1,200, I don't think is that far off. I actually think that's pretty good value for LSU to win a national title.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
maybe not with SEC though. Plus 450.
That's what really yeah. It's just there's so many blue bloods out there, and then you got, I mean, Caleb Williams with USC is going to be in the mix. Michigan and Ohio State will be reloaded. They'll be in there. I mean, Texas should be better this year. So like, there's just so many contenders. I mean, hell, Florida State. I mean, week 1, I feel like is going to set the tone as far as who out of LSU and Florida State could make the playoff, because like, I feel like both of those teams have college football playoff aspirations, and whoever can come out of week 1 with a win will be on track to get there.
Before we talk more about LSU, which we're going to do in just a moment, we'll remind you, we ask you politely to subscribe to our Bayou Bets YouTube channel if you haven't already. Trying to build up the channel a little bit. I know a lot of you watch the show on other channels, but if you can, just run over to Bayou Bets, just hit the click subscribe, and you'll know whenever a new show comes on, which is every Monday at 4 p.m. and Thursday at 4 p.m. And also Datitude is coming back. I think it's coming back Friday. I'm not 100% sure about that, but probably should. All right, El Ray says they're an LSU premium after everything in Louisiana being the only Deep South state with legal sports betting. I mean, we kind of talked about this in the pre-production as we get to John Emery in just a moment. But, I think that we're to a point now where people expect LSU to win. And what is the level of disappointment going to be among Tigers fans? And feel free to chime in, guys and gals out there. If you're watching, feel free to leave your comment on YouTube or on Facebook if you're watching either one of those, what you think. But is the level of disappointment going to be more or less what it normally would be if they can't make it all the way and get a national championship?
Oh, it's definitely going to be more, because the LSU fans have gotten, lack of a better word, spoiled recently. Yeah. I mean, you got a women's basketball national championship in only Kim Mulkey's second season, and a baseball national championship. Granted, that one was more expected, even though it was Jay Johnson's second season. But still, it's like you got 2 natties like that in 1 year, and now it's Brian Kelly's second season. So everyone's saying the patterns, I guess the football team's going to win because it's his second season, which, yeah, it's possible. But if you set the bar that high, there's a good chance you'll be disappointed, especially considering that college football landscape, there's a lot of other big dogs. I mean, you still got Nick Saban, you still got Georgia, you still got, like I said, Ohio State, Michigan, these guys. I forgot to mention, I mean, Texas A&M with all their NIL money could make a comeback this year. There's a lot of sharks in the water. So, yeah, LSU fans, it's like you want to aim for that, but don't be super disappointed if you don't win it, because it's just you're still not the overall favorite. You're close to Alabama, but Alabama and Georgia are still the top dogs.
I'm gonna have to go look. When's the last time a school won 3 national championships over the course of 9 months in major sports? Because if they were to win football, obviously that would be the case, having won women's basketball, baseball, and then football. I mean, that would be a pretty amazing feat. I know a lot of schools have done too when it comes to baseball and football, or even basketball and football.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that we've seen 3 in a matter of 9 months. Now, it wouldn't be in the same school year, but in the matter of 9 months. So I'm going to do some research, or maybe, when Zach's not doing anything, or Zoe's going to look. Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe in the back. Yeah, she's on it.
Get Tripod to type that in for us back there and see what happens. As we talk more about LSU, one thing that was, Brian Kelly did mention John Emery today, and we kind of touched on the fact that we think, I think you and I both feel this way, that what's lacking on LSU right now is their run game, and they were missing a lot of that last year. While Ray points out Florida basketball.
Yeah, I was about to say Florida in the 2000s.
I'm talking about 3.
Yeah.
Did they didn't
baseball?
Win 3.
They had good baseball teams back then too.
In 9 months, you're trying too hard, El Ray. I know you love the Gators, but you're trying too hard. I want to know if a school has won 3 major sports in the course of 9 months, because that's what that would be. But talking about John Emery coming back, could really give this running game a boost. And even though he only rushed for, I think it was like 360 yards or something, but he missed a lot of time. He has not lived up. And look, as someone who covered him at Destrehan and just thought he was a can't miss going to the next level, he has had his share of issues, but he can make a lot of those things go to the wayside and people forget about all that if he could have a great year this year and help LSU. Because again, what they really need is a good running game.
Definitely. Yeah, he's been a disappointment, but he could give them that punch they need back there, especially considering he's experienced, hadn't had a whole lot of success, but he just needs someone competent back there. I mean, Ty Davis Price wasn't like the best in the world, but he was at least a competent runner there. He's now in the NFL as like a backup. So it's like you don't need someone. I mean, you got Jaden Daniels. You don't need a Leonard Fournette type presence back there, but you definitely need someone to move the chains, pound the rock, because you don't want your lead running back to have only 500 yards again. You want them to have at least 700-800, I feel like.
Right. No, I agree wholeheartedly. But how much do you think they're going to rely more on the running game this year? Obviously, last year they kind of just got away from it. You talk about Ty Davis Price, and he was a key back there. He really helped kind of a moribund, I would say. Just there was no running game whatsoever in the early part of the season. They kind of came out of nowhere. How much do you think a running game could really give this team a chance?
Oh, it could be the difference in them winning it all and not winning it all, because the fact was last year they didn't have enough of a running game for their offense to be quite at the level that they needed to be. Because, I mean, in college football, you've got to be cream of the crop basically every week. I mean, you're walking on a tightrope, because if you lose one, you're already kind of in the hole. If you lose 2, you're basically, your season's over as far as trying to make the CFP. So it's just you got to be pretty much perfect. And on offense, if you don't have that running game, I know Jaden runs. He was their lead runner last year, but don't want him running too much, because we all know if you run more as a quarterback, your injury chance goes up. And if Jaden gets hurt, well, then all bets are off. I mean, no disrespect to Nussmeier, but I mean, I feel like if you don't have Jaden this season, you're not winning a natty. So
don't be razzing on Jaden. Don't be razzing on Nussy now. Don't.
I mean, he's all right, but I mean, Jaden's got that dual threat ability, freak athlete. And then I say Walker Howard, but he's since transferred. He's now at Ole Miss. So
to show you how old I am, I remember when Nussmeier's dad was playing quarterback for the Saints. That's how old I am.
Doug, yeah.
So I call him Clipboard Nussy. That's what we call him.
Yeah, hopefully we'll need him to hold the clipboard for LSU's sake.
So what about those Nussmeiers? They know how to hold the clipboard, don't they? All right, I'm not ragging on him.
They go from loving on him to hating.
That's a little over the top. All right, Zoe says, as far as she can see, there are none. There are no 3 championship winners, major championship winners over the course of 9 months. So we're going to do a little bit more research into that over the next couple of days, and we're going to find out if that is actually the case. I think that is the case, actually. 9 months. Could you imagine winning 3 national championships in 9? I mean, I'm not saying LSU is going to do it, but the fact that they're basically second, right? No, they're fifth. Excuse me, fifth, tied for fifth at plus 1,200. I think tied with USC. Is that who they were tied with?
Mm-hmm.
At plus 1,200. So I mean, they got a shot. They got a real shot. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's move on. I want to talk a little bit about NFL. And the Saints obviously are just 11 days away as we stand here from opening their training camp at Saints facility. Oh man, I hope it's not as hot as it's been. I hope they get a little bit cooler weather than what we've had. More on the weather coming up in a little bit. But if you want to call it a big signing, you could call it whatever you want. DeAndre Hopkins, kind of less of a splash than maybe had he signed with someone bigger. He signs with the Titans. He's now with Ryan Tannehill. Of course, having D. Henry there with you, 2 DHs going with the Tennessee Titans rolling. Is this how much better? First off, before we talk about if it makes them really that much better, you had a thing this morning up on bet.nola.com, Spence, about the fantasy impacts of DeAndre Hopkins. But just, is this an overblown hype? He's 31 years old. How big is this? How big is this?
Yeah, it's not that big, I don't feel like. I mean, it's good that we know where he's at now for fantasy. But if anything, I think it's a negative because, like, Tennessee that offense is still going to run through Derrick Henry. And they've had numerous tries at veteran receivers. You can go back to Randy Moss, Julio Jones. I think Hop will fare better than them. He's not quite as old, not quite as injury prone. So I think he's got another solid season left in the tank. It's just in that offense, like, that is where receivers go to die. So, and then Treylon Burks, people are expecting him to break out, but now that you add Hop there, it's hard for 2 receivers to thrive in what's just a very run-heavy offense. So, yeah, I'm staying away from it for fantasy football as well as in reality. This doesn't move the needle for me. Jacksonville's winning that division as long as Trevor Lawrence is upright and healthy.
Oh, Ray's hating. Said be more excited if it was Bernard Hopkins. Wow.
Yeah, and then the Saints play the Titans week 1, so it'll be interesting to see the Lattimore D-Hop battle. Last year, I think Lattimore was hurt, though. For the Cardinals, D-Hop made his return from the PED suspension and torched the Saints. But I think it was Alontae Taylor on him, who was at that point pretty green, didn't have much experience. So, like, but this year, I think
I'm going to tell you, I don't want to give too much of a spoiler alert as I'm about to begin my my annual over-under predictions on, we go through the totals for each team and kind of do a betting preview for each team in the NFL. And that is going to start for us next week. I'm not sure if it's going to start on Monday or Tuesday of next week, but we're going to have a video for each team, go through each team thoroughly as we come up with whether we think you should bet the over or the under. We've been pretty good the first 2 years. We weren't very good on the Saints last year, but we've been pretty good over the past 2 years. I don't want to give a big spoiler alert, but I just don't understand. And look, they collapsed. I get it last year, and I should have taken my my 90% cash out on the Titans to win a division. I don't get the love for Jacksonville, and I don't get the hate for Tennessee. I think they're both average at best. So. But people think the Titans suck. I don't think they suck. I don't think they're good. I don't think they suck. And Jacksonville, everybody thinks they're a Super Bowl contender. Jacksonville and Detroit are the 2 teams that are getting way too much love going into the season. I don't quite get it at all.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Jacksonville, it's a quarterback-driven league as opposed to, compared to Tennessee.
Right, and Trevor Lawrence not shown me anything.
What? Come on. Trevor Lawrence took a huge step forward last year. He was awful as a rookie. But last season, especially in the second half, Trevor Lawrence, I feel like, proved me right because I had been a fan of his for a while. And then he stunk early on. You were getting on me. And I was like, yeah, he's looking bad.
Still stinks.
The second half, look at his numbers. Second half, he was a Pro Bowl level quarterback. He was putting up big numbers. I think
that is going way out there to say he was a Pro Bowl level quarterback.
And now he's got Calvin Ridley in the mix. If Calvin Ridley, as long as he deletes FanDuel off his phone, Calvin Ridley is a big addition to that team.
Trevor Lawrence ended up as the 9th best quarterback when it comes to yardage last year with 4,113. Really, 4,000 yards is not the big deal that it used to be. When it comes to rating, if you're going by ESPN, which is just what happens to be what I have up on my screen right now, this is not the official. He was 15th, which is average. And that's exactly what goes to show. That's exactly what I think he is. I think he's average. I think Jacksonville's average.
Man,
we'll find out.
Well, you've always been a Lawrence hater.
I'm not a hater. I think you just think he's overrated. I don't hate him. I don't have a problem with him one way or the other. I just think he's overrated.
And Ryan Tannehill's better.
No, I didn't say that either. I think
I'm about to say, all right.
I don't think Ryan Tannehill's any good either.
Quarterback. The thing with Tennessee is just like, I mean, also there in Jacksonville, their pass defense isn't that great either. But Tennessee's pass defense, god awful, and it's like I said, quarterback driven league. They stink at quarterback, and their pass defense stinks. I mean, yeah, they can run the ball, and their run defense is good. They're just built like a team that from like 10 years ago. I feel like Vrabel's like just a little too old school for this modern NFL where the spread quarterback driven.
Oh, you just don't like that. You're gonna be on Zach's boat because he probably doesn't go for it on 4th and 1 from the 50. So that's what
I mean, it's like you don't have to worry about that as much when you've got a quarterback that's moving the chains consistently, where when you kind of just stuck and then you just try to, everything's just in that offense. D-Hop will help, but the fact is there's still a ground and pound type team. And if their defense isn't good enough, it's not going to work.
Pace running back. That's what they need. I mean, because it's so easy when you know that Derrick Henry is going to pound up the middle. I mean, sometimes you can't stop him and he does what he does, but sometimes, I mean, it's coming. So to me, if they had a Kamara-like, I mean, I'm not talking about
Tajay Spears. They drafted Tajay Spears.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying, and we never got to that. So that's going to watch out in the previews. I guarantee you that's coming up.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to make the
perfect place for him.
Double or nothing on that bet from last year.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
maybe we'll have to do it. I never paid you yet. I know.
Right? Yeah, maybe we can do double.
No. You know what? I'm gonna pay you, but before we get started, because once we get started, we're gonna roll. You and I are gonna go have a po' boy. Pretty soon, and then we'll just make the bet again. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. We're getting close to the end here. I want to talk about the British Open, which by the time we come on the air on Thursday, it will already have started. So let's show you the favorites. No surprise here. Rory McIlroy coming off the Scottish Open victory. I'm kind of surprised he's plus 700 now behind Scotty Scheffler. He was the favorite before he won the Scottish Open. And a lot of bettors like me have a little, I don't know if I want to pick him 2 weeks in a row. I'm the same, and that does concern me, Spence. I'm never that kind of guy. I have a big one and done choice to make, and I've been thinking I was going to take Rory this whole time for the British Open, and now I'm kind of nervous a little bit because, again, he won last week. I mean, do we really think he can win again to back-to-back weeks, even though he's back home for the most part?
Yeah, I think it's very possible. I mean, he's playing good golf right now. He's on his home turf. I think it's. I mean, I'm not the golf guy like you are, but to me, it seems like a decent value considering he's normally with a little lower odds than that. I'm not sure what the conditions are expected to be, if that could play a factor, but I feel like as far as I know, this looks like it could be worth a play. I mean, because Scotty is also playing well, but like he hadn't won in a while, I don't think. So
he hadn't been able to putt. Scotty,
I'd go
putting
with Rory if I had to pick one of them.
Well, a lot of people are talking John Rahm this week and kind of climbing out of the weeds, I guess, per se. The defending champion, Cameron Smith, is in there plus 1,800. Live guy. People don't want to talk about the live guys because they just kind of forget about him. Brooks Koepka, the PGA champion, is plus 2,000. I think that is great value. I don't like Koepka more than I like Rory or John Rahm, but I do like that number of plus 2,000. Better than any number on this board. That and along Cantlay has been playing very well. Terrell Hatton at plus 2,500, I think, is also a great pick. Ricky Fowler has been playing well. And Tommy Fleetwood, again, he knows how to play these courses, and he also plays well in big tournaments. So as far as if you go and put money down, I don't think I would put money on any of the top four. I just don't. It's hard to bet against Rory. But at that number, plus 700, that is really low. You can't bet Scheffler at plus 650, in my opinion, because it's just not a good enough number. And he's just not been putting. So we'll see how it works out. But to me, if I had to take a couple names on this board, I'm going with Koepka at plus 2,000. I'm going with Terrell Hatton at plus 2,500, and maybe a buck or two on Fleetwood at plus 2,500. So.
For sure. Yeah, I think they had a lot of 30 to 1. I got like a Dustin Johnson and different ones. So yeah,
DJ's I believe 30 to 1 is a good. Also Bryson DeChambeau at plus 5,500. He's been playing pretty well. So Quentin says, let's see if I can do this right. And you can tell me, Spencer. It's been a long time since I took French. Bonne journée à vous de New Jersey. Amusez-vous bien. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the show. See, I do remember my French a little bit.
Sounded good.
Well, we're glad you're enjoying the show.
Thanks for tuning in, Quentin.
All right, let's get to our rants before we close out the show. Spence, I'm going to let you start it off as you get into Mr. Shohei Ohtani, getting close to that trade deadline coming up in 2 weeks.
Yes. I watched the game last night, Angels Astros on Sunday Night Baseball, to see what the Shohei hype was all about, and boy, did he live up to it. He freaking did his thing. He didn't pitch, but as a hitter, he was crushing it. Hit a home run in the 9th. They were down 2. Hits a solo shot in the 9th, cuts the lead to 1. I was like, all right, come on, Angels. Y'all got to do this for Shohei. I mean, he's been carrying y'all on his back all year. Like, this is y'all's chance to show we're going to come back and show Shohei that we're contending this year. But they get a couple runners on, and then Kyle Tucker diving catch ends it. And in my opinion, that's, if I'm the Angels, it's time to blow it up. It's time to just blow it up. Trade Shohei, because the fact is they just don't have enough around him to contend. And if you go paying him the record contract that he wants in free agency, then unless you're willing to go over the luxury tax, then you're not going to have a good team. You're simply not. Plus, you got Mike Trout on the books, who's always injured. So it's like, for me, if I'm the Angels, I'm cleaning house, get an actual farm system to actually restock the pitch. Instead of every year, ever since they signed Albert Pujols over 10 years ago, it's just been patchwork to their pitching staff, because then Mike Trout came up and they had to pay Mike Trout along with Pujols' fat contract. And they also brought in Anthony Rendon, and they love to pay these big bats that are never healthy. And then they have no pitching to go with it. And as a result, they're a losing franchise. So if you want to change your identity, you've got to do the hard thing here, which is trade your superstar, get something for him, which you'll get a lot for him. The Dodgers or someone's going to pay you 5-6 prospects, I'm sure, for the freaking best player in MLB. So it's time to do it. Time to just admit that you suck, that you're not winning the World Series, even with Shohei, and do what you've been needing to do for years now, which is hit the reset button.
Well, I will say this. How long have we been saying blow up the Angels? Seems like we always say blow up the Angels. They never win anything.
Right, and they never blow it up. They're scared. So it's time to do it now.
Well, I do. You typed up your slide here today, and I don't know if you realize you made a mistake, but it's an interesting, kind of funny mistake. Overdue, you typed in over rude.
Yeah, kind of a time crunch this day. Yeah,
well, I mean, maybe it is over rude. I mean, it's rude that they keep doing this to their fans, that they just keep losing. No matter who how can you have Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout and not win? I just don't get that. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't think they're going to do it, not just because of their Angels and they don't like doing that. I think that in their case, I don't think they think they're going to get enough. I think they have these pipe dreams that they can still make the wild card. I don't think they can, especially the way the AL East is going and every team is winning. But I don't know. It's hard to trade Shohei Ohtani. I think you would piss off the fans more than it would help you to get something in return. I get the whole got to get something in return thing, but if you're just sending a signal to your fans that you're like just giving up on anything in the near future. I don't think they're going to do it, but we'll see. It's summer. It's going to be one of the big stories of the next couple of weeks. And my thing of summer is this, as I spent the past 2+ weeks doing nothing. And that's basically what I did. I was actually sick for like 5 or 6 days of vacation, which is typical, and I haven't had a chance to complain to anyone because no one here wants to hear it. The whole house was sick, so they all were in the same boat. But, summer to me it's kind of apropos of summer because just think about where we are right now in the sports world. We're like sitting, waiting on pins and needles. I know a lot of you don't care one way or the other about baseball. I mean, you care enough to where you might make a bet or two here or there. You love the golf, the major golf tournaments. Zach Ewings of the world and the Gabe Hendersons of the world. World Cup is starting soon. We got Tripod in the background. He is getting fired up about different things this summer. But for me, Summer just sucks. I can't wait for it to end. This heat is killing me. 98 degrees, enough already. The Saints don't start for another week. I know Jerry talked about how the rookies are getting going tomorrow, I think, but that doesn't count because we can't see them. They're not going to talk enough about them. Camp doesn't really start until a week from Friday. Enough already. I don't even like preseason. At this point, I would take preseason football. I just hate summer. Spence?
Oh man, I don't think I hate it as much as you, but I feel your pain because I feel like it's just like a lot of temptations. You're just like, oh yeah, it's summer, I can do so much, have so much fun. Which I've had some fun. I had a vacation that was fun.
Oh,
I
you're
had a
20
trip this weekend, so I had some fun. I'm not complaining, but it's just like I feel your pain though as far as with football. It's just like I'm just scrolling through the news. I do like it. It's a time to do research and kind of reflect and evaluate. But I feel like I'm almost in a way hit a point of no return. Where it's like I've done so much research, studied the depth charts, and I'll probably do some more here to like some cleanup procedure. But it's just like, after a while, there's only so much research you can do before you start overthinking it. So it's like you gotta, be informed, but also you don't want to. Because I've been coming up with some bold predictions where some have kind of had to walk back because I'm like, all right, this is too much. This is just me bored in the summer and just wanting to come up with something crazy. So. Yeah.
Well, I'm with you. Look, Jerry says he likes summer. He likes the longer days. Honestly, that might be the only thing I like about summer. I like that it stays light outside until 8:30 or so. That part of it I do like, but I can't look even when it's not 98 and it's 92. I like it when it's high 60, low 40. I know that's too cold for some people. That's what I like. Maybe I should have been born in I'm a big Cubs fan. Maybe I should have been born in Chicago. Maybe I should live up there. A lot of you probably wish I lived up there right now, but that's a whole nother story. Maybe we'll get into it on Thursday. Our final reminder to you as we go off for the day to subscribe to the Bayou Bets channel, YouTube channel. If you haven't already, go take a look. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We are on Instagram. We're on TikTok, right, Spence?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't do a whole lot of TikTok. I'm getting there. But I haven't quite got there yet. We're working on it. But we are going to see you on Thursday. We'll have more to talk about, probably a little bit more about the Saints, maybe get into some other things going on the SEC Media Days and give you an update on the British Open. All coming up on Thursday on Bayou Bets. Hope you have a great week. We'll talk to you then. Stay cool some kind of way. Towel, water, Florida water, whatever it is. We'll see you later. Bye-bye, everybody.